you witnessed the rebuilding of the towers. Now, I don't know, John, were you able to visit there shortly after the attack or not?
I was there a couple months later. Yeah, I was there.
So do you remember the smell? Do you remember the smell?
I do.
Remember the smell?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will never forget. I get shivers thinking about it. Was this industrial smell like burnt wires, and it permeated lower Manhattan for probably the better part of 6 months to 8 months. It was always there, and it was such a grim reminder of the failure to prevent it. And I'm friends with Rudy Giuliani and the late Bernie Kerik, and God rest his soul. To your point, though, and I don't want to get into anything that will take us off the track of just talking about the sentiment and where we're going, but I do believe they were victimized, Bernie and Rudy, by some of the same incompetence, I'm going to be polite, that we've seen in the intelligence community over and over the past 20 years. I mean, a lot of the same people were in charge back then in some form. And and this is one of the things I'll never forget, nobody got fired for the 9/11 failures, except us, who came forward and said, hey, we were tracking these guys. Yeah, we don't want to hear about that. So it's really ironic, but that's for another night. But for now, let's talk about the rebuilding. So out of the ashes of lower Manhattan, you go there today, and I spent some time. I used to run the London Center. I kind of technically still do. I run the London Center for Policy Research. Our base was there in lower Manhattan, down there at that at 10. My mind is going like Joe Biden. It's that round building there on the edge of right across from the ferry. Anyway, I can't remember. It's 10 State Street. It's the round, kind of that rounded building. That was our headquarters. So I spent a lot of time.
Right.
And so lower Manhattan today, you would never know that the tragedy happened. And that's one of the grand ironies, I think, because we only tend to remember this like now. We're coming up on the 9/11 anniversary. People have kind of forgotten what it was like, but you were there for the rebuilding. So tell me about what it was like to be with those people who experienced it. And I don't want to make it too personal and get you in trouble, but I suspect their memories of that event stuck with them to the point of where it almost haunted them. Would that be accurate?
Oh, absolutely. So the photographers that I worked with, some of the reporters who over the years would share, how it impacted them. They struggled with, a lot of them, most of them, with depression. Some with substance abuse, alcohol, abuse over the years. The trauma of dealing with it. These were folks that saw the towers come down, people jumping to their death, the most awful things, and then were there, and some of them had health problems, in the years after, because they were there for weeks, at ground zero and covering that. So the impact was intense for them. And then over the years, meeting the family members of victims, whose fathers, mothers, brothers, sons, daughters were killed. I certainly met and interviewed, so many of those folks, and was lucky to meet a lot of those people. So hearing those stories throughout the course of the rebuilding efforts, and I watched the Freedom Tower get built over the 3.5, 4 years that it was built from the bottom up. So that was my experience those years later. But then after that, covering terrorism, covering the war on terrorism, the ISIS attacks in Belgium, in Turkey, at Ataturk Airport. And then, of course, fast forward to October 7th. Now that was Hamas in Gaza, but nonetheless, there's often kind of the connection with a lot of these events and a lot of these terrorist organizations and cells. And now it's the Iranian proxies. And what concerns me and what really bothers me are the warning signs that I think are still there, and the potential for another major attack.
If you like that clip, there's more. There's always more on ColonelTonyShaffer.com. Go sign up. Get all of our exclusive content and deep dives and conversations. We'll be doing a lot more. We'll be having great guests. You'll want to be there for all of it. So again, ColonelTonyShaffer.com. Sign up today, and you will be an exclusive member in an exclusive circle.